Council meeting to order for April 14th, 2025. All rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
I just asked for a moment of silence just because there's been a lot of loss lately at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Present.
Spitali,
Here.
Linez,
Here.
Kalwinski. Here. Salinas,
Here.
Tyler,
Here.
Emerson,
Here.
Rakos,
Here.
Warple.
Here, let the record show 9 present, 0 absent. Mayor?
Hi, nice to see you all. It's Mayor's address for April 14, 2025. I'm happy to report to the Hammond Council that Fire Department has officially moved into Fire Station number 2 last week. They're moved in. We got the first tour last week. The administration did. We were there for our normal monthly meeting. We did it in that station. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. We're going to be doing an open house, official public open house very soon. I think we have a date. I just don't have it handy. If somebody could pull that up real quick. But if not, what is it? May 1st. May 1st. That's easy to remember. May 1st. So obviously you're all welcome. It looks a lot like, what time? 1:30. Thank you. At 1:30. It looks a lot like Fire Station number 8. That's sort of the new design for houses. We have accommodations for women firefighters in this new station as well. We have 2 full-time active duty women firefighters currently, and we plan to get a lot more in the future. So to do that, we need to make our houses bigger, and we need to have accommodations for the women firefighters as well. Both of these new stations do. All fire stations in the future will have it as well. Right now, on the board, we have Fire Station number 7 on the board. We have it designed. We have a location. We don't have the money for it. So if anybody finds an extra $8 million, give me a heads up, and we'll make sure to get on it right away. So activity log. Met with Vince Parisi, the CEO of NIPSCO, over the last couple weeks in regards to data centers. Believe it or not, NIPSCO is playing a very important role in data center development. They have limited amount of megawatts available, and the data centers are looking for about 20 times more than the megawatts that are available from NIPSCO. So I think it's important to have a good relationship with NIPSCO during the data center ordeals that we're going through. So anyway, I think it's good. We had a good meeting. I think I have another meeting scheduled with him coming up shortly. So I met with the economic development team that's going to be presenting 2 proposals at the upcoming ICSC trade show. We're going to be pushing 2. We wanted to focus on 2. It's a convention of all the biggest shopping centers and commercial real estate agents in the nation. It's in Las Vegas. We wanted to focus on 2 big projects that we thought would appeal to people from across the country. So we're focusing on the Gateway Station in the 2nd district and on the Haunted House in the 4th district. Those 2 projects we think have appeal to people across the country. We're going to be pushing real hard. Obviously, if people want to talk to us about other projects, we'll be open-minded to that. We just thought we'd be more successful by focusing on 2 high-priority projects like that. So if anybody has any questions, I'm willing to meet with you and talk also. Met with the president of Ironworkers Local 395 about a union issue that flared up over the last couple weeks. It was over a small project, and it was a union issue. They got the union out of sorts, and we had a good meeting. I think we put it away. It was about a $17,000 issue, and it's one of those where we don't have to bid it. If you don't have to bid it, you don't get into the responsible bidding ordinance that we all passed. So we fell into the gray zone. I don't think the iron workers were very happy with the decision we made. I think we ironed it out. Hammond Police monthly captains meeting. What did I say?
The iron workers ironed it out.
Look at that. Son of a gun. Hammond, that was good. Hammond Police monthly captains meeting. Met with the captains and chiefs from the Hammond Police Department regarding crime stats, trends, and personnel issues. This is a standing meeting we have. I give you the same report every month. Different issues come up, but we have a standing meeting with them. In that meeting, I have people from the Board of Public Works and Safety in there. I have the Controller's Office in there. Obviously, the administration's present as well. I think all the captains are in that meeting, including the chiefs as well. I think we've been doing it for years. I think it's a great way to stay in touch with what's going on in the police department. And right now, ever since we passed our ordinance with the raises, we've been doing really good. We haven't lost a Hammond police officer to, going to another department in well over a year, ever since we passed our ordinance. So we fixed the problem. And it appears that police personnel has stabilized in police department and in the fire department. So I want to thank the council for helping us get that accomplished. Held our monthly in-station meeting with on-duty Hammond firefighters. We met with Shift 1 in new fire station number 2. Great meeting. Met with Dr. Richard Watson. He's the CEO of Calumet Quick Care, which is right over here on Calumet Avenue, 5518 Calumet Avenue. This is a business that wants to get more attention across the city of Hammond. It's a urgent care, and they could use more business. So we're going to try to work with them and do like an open house or something like that. But Dr. Watson's a great guy, invested in the city of Hammond, and we want to help him out. So also met with Dave Pavlik, one of the main financiers of the Hammond Data Center proposal. He's an incredible person. We had a really neat meeting. I mean, he's a really young guy too, swinging big money. So it's good to talk to people like that and keep in touch with what's going on up there at the data center. If that data center is approved, the one we've been working on, it's a game changer for us. It helps us a lot. So our relationship with NIPSCO it's imperative to have a great relationship right now and to explain what we're trying to do, because NIPSCO has a lot of latitude in where these megawatts are going to go. And if they don't want to do them in Hammond, they won't come here. So spoke at the Whiting-Robertsdale Chamber of Commerce in regards to a homicide that we had earlier this week in the 1st District. It was a tough meeting, but I think it was a very good meeting, but it was a very tough meeting. I was there literally days after a horrible homicide that we had in the 1st District. So got my head shaved in honor of Isabella and Ingarica. I want to thank everybody that donated $22,000. 100% of it went to the family of Isabella. So thank you to everybody that helped us raise money. She is fighting leukemia, 2nd grader at Lincoln Elementary School. Beautiful little girl. And last but not least, I attended the Armored MMA event held last week at the Hammond Civic Center. We sold over 3,000 tickets to that. Basically, if you're like a Game of Thrones type of person and you like Armored MMA, it was heaven for you. At the Civic Center this weekend, I want to thank Juan and everybody that worked real hard to bring that to Hammond. It's the only time they've gone out of Nashville, Tennessee. The only place they've gone outside of Nashville, Hammond Civic Center. So it was really cool. They're coming back in November. It was a huge success. So congratulations to Juan over there at the Civic Center for thinking outside of the box and bringing something big to our city. So I have more to talk about when we talk about the resolutions and ordinances. So if you don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Mayor, if you'll indulge me for a second.
Sure.
Speaking of people that are excited to come to Hammond, I was talking to you today and some of my colleagues about the new coffee shop in the 5th District.
Yes, sir.
Mr. and Mrs. Gomez, who opened that, are sitting back here in the
Hi,
audience.
guys. I've heard a lot about your place.
Al, they're residents of your district, and they're very excited about their new store in Hammond. Do you
What's the
mind
name
if
of it?
they say
219?
a quick word?
What's the name of it again, Councilman?
219 Grounds
219
Cafe.
Grounds. It's right across on 169th.
Right across from Purdue. In fact,
It's 169th and Woodmar, basically.
Yeah. in talking to them, that dorm is a big reason they're there and
I agree.
catering to the students. Would you like to say a word or two about coming to Hammond, if you don't mind, real quick?
Sure. So my husband and I have been eyeing this building for years, and we couldn't get a hold of the owner. We couldn't figure out who he was, and finally, back in November, we got a hold of him, and he liked our idea, and the area was good, so he agreed to lease it to us, and we've been working on it since then, and we were so excited to bring that home because we like to travel a lot, so we would visit a lot of coffee shops and places like that in other parts of the world. We just wanted something like that home, so we're so happy to bring this to our town and to share it with our community, and we've gotten really good feedback, a lot of people coming again and telling their friends, bringing their friends, so we're super excited.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Does anybody have any
There's no
questions?
reason that coffee shop shouldn't be hugely successful on 169th and Woodmar. There's no
I tried-
reason. There's 8,000 students across the street and a lot of neighbors that like coffee, myself included. So 169th and Woodmar, new coffee shop. Let's make it successful.
I tried to get in there for 3 days at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I take my nap by 9, so I had to wait. I met them the other day, and they're so excited to be in Hammond, and I'm telling you, they're looking for other built places to put businesses in
Cool.
from the conversations we've had.
Nice,
So,
thanks.
Thank
Any
you
other
for coming.
questions?
Councilman
Hi,
Kowinski.
Councilman.
Good evening. Yesterday, I was talking with builders at the Clark Field site, and a couple of them have built the outer shell, put the windows in, and they can't go any further because there's no electricity.
Right, I heard about this earlier.
And so they said that they were told it won't be till July or August where there'll be electricity that they can run into the house.
That's shocking if that's true, but it's handy that I have this meeting with the CEO coming up of NIPSCO. I was meeting with him about something else, but I will definitely follow this up, because that's, and we, excuse me. We all know that my former chief of staff, well, a couple chief of staffs ago, Rick Kalinsky, is a director at NIPSCO. He's a Hammond kid, man. He grew up in Hammond. He's still a Hammond kid. He doesn't live here anymore, but we have somebody watching out for us there. And I'm not even afraid to say that out loud. He's a Hammond kid. He grew up here, so I'll reach out to Rick. I would be shocked if that turns out true, Councilman.
Well, I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right, too, because that's
The
shocking.
builder also mentioned that the electricity was supposed to go in the easement, which is the alley, but it's an easement.
Mm-hmm.
And that was changed to the front. And apparently, I don't know if that has something to do with the notion that now sidewalks won't have a parkway in that subdivision. The sidewalks look like, according to the builder, will have to be along the curb.
I'll follow this up tomorrow, Councilman,
I
okay?
appreciate it.
All right. I heard something about this morning at staff. It was told to me in passing that this may come up. It came up, obviously. I appreciate you bringing it up. Let me dig in on it and find out so that we can put this to bed. And if it turns out to be July or August, we got to fight for our residents. That's unacceptable.
Yep.
It's not like we sprung this upon anybody. We've been talking about this project for 5 years, so.
And the builders say that they have 2x6 studs up, and what happens in wet weather
Yes, sir.
is the studs start to not be straight.
Okay.
So then when you put the drywall on, it's not straight.
I'm on tomorrow, I promise you. First thing, okay? I'll keep you in the loop, obviously.
Thanks.
Yes. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to be talking again, obviously, when resolutions and things of that nature come up, so I'll just save it for then. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, item number 4, library presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. I'm here as the president of the trustee board of the library. We also have,
And I am the interim director, Cornell White.
yeah. And we also have Maxine with us too. She's one of the trustees. But I think Cornell's going to be taking the lead here. Ray, if you could pull up the slideshow.
Hi, my name's Cornell White. I'm the current interim director of the Hammond Public Library. Many of you have met me. I think everyone has met me, but maybe a handful within the last 13 years. Currently, I am bringing up the stats, and it is the protection of libraries, not just Hammond, but all of the libraries within probably the country, but definitely, my job is Hammond. Investing in literacy and equity. Next slide. All right. Many of the legislations that's coming out obviously hasn't hit just the library. The city has been hammered by them. The SB 1 is hit. Now, it's going to sound contradictory, but I think that I'm able to navigate the hits that's going. So there's many municipalities within the state that probably are going to have a lot of big ramifications of his legislation, but from what I can understand of SB 1 currently, I'm able to navigate it. To tell you my background, I have a master's degree in accounting and financial management, and I have an MBA. So the finance part I have down. As far as a library, I have 3 more classes to finish my library science degree. That's why I'm still interim. But we have a literacy conflict, a literacy crisis in Hammond at 18%. 18% of our kids are coming out of school, graduating with, and I'm sure this isn't news to you, I'm sure many of you are on this, at grade level. Many of the kids and this isn't just happening to the Hammond Public Library, it's also happening to every Western group of kids in the Western world due to electronics and whatnot. I can show you some of the legislation that's been coming out. It's not new. That has to do with attacks on libraries. Most of them have failed or they're hitting the schools. The protected impact is about $450,000 with the first SB1 that came out. I found out like last Friday how much it actually would be. And I can tell you a little bit about our long-range plan. Next slide. Let's see if time is correct. All right, this is a schematic of like where we stand. So we're at 18%. The U.S. national average for literacy is at 30, and you can see other schools and districts within our area. Looks like the highest one is in Munster. It seems like it may have some correlation with maybe affluence. I'm just making indirect, unstudied situation, but even 51 is low. I remember when I was a kid, it was at like 80 something, 83. Next slide. All right, this is going by the SB1. We just spoke about that. I'm looking at 60,000 this year, 60,000 next year, and about 100,000 the following. 283, it may be dead on arrival because of the time period, and it's actually trying to shift the financial powers to the county. 1180 or 95 went after school libraries. They want to put the librarians in jail if they have pornographic material. And 1447 was from last year, and again is going after school libraries. Next slide. This is me stating that is at maximum a $450,000 impact on our levy. Again, I'm not here asking for money. I'm not even entertaining like needing any money. If you see me here asking for money, you can put me in the jail downstairs. But I don't need money. Next slide. All right, this is showing that our financial, this is our general fund and our tax rate. Many of you have looked at it. Our tax rate is dropping according to the assessed value. 3 years ago it was at 17, and now it's at $15.92 per $100. Next slide. All right, this is showing our numbers. I gave you another schematic showing you most of our numbers. Our library card usage, we do a purge every year, like every 3 months, to drop the people who don't use cards. Now, if you look at that, the numbers, the usage of the cards have gone up. The programs have substantially gone up, and the circulation has gone up, and also the visitations are about 50% higher within the last year. And it may have something to do with the economy and inflation and whatnot, but honestly, that's my goal, is to bring more people into the library for its usage. Next slide.
In fact, I think it was about a 90% increase in internal events attended. So they have events that happen outside and inside the library. That's where you get that 611 number. And we saw, it go up it's pretty much been on a steady increase, attendance of events at the library. And I think they've also really been hitting the social media pretty hard. Please follow them on Facebook, Instagram. They have an event page for every event. I mean, they've really been doing, I think, a better job at publicizing these events.
And we're doing there's a machine that's in the south side of Hammond in front of the First Methodist Church. I'm gonna do another grand opening on that machine. You're able to check out a library book with your card, like a red box. But this is a list of the things that we're doing for children and all of our funds, or all of our, I'm not a speaker, but anyway, all of our programs. We have all age groups in there. You got babies and tots, story time. A lot of our programs have to do with children. People are a lot more involved with their children lately. Whether when I was a kid, my dad would just tell me, go to the library, here's your library book card. And nowadays, people are coming in with their children in order to help their literacy.
And a lot of these events, they're monthly or bi-monthly even, so.
And most of these are like common events that we tend to have. So, but the 1,000 books before kindergarten, that's our summer reading. Summer reading kicks off in June. And I am trying to figure out ways in order to get kids more involved in reading. The teens are beginning to come in. With the teams coming in, you get both problems. Like, yes, teams are coming in, but then you come with team problems with them, horse playing and everything else. But we're inviting it. We'll figure it out. We have security there to keep them in order if need be. Next slide. All right, so we have early literacy education. That's self-explanatory, school-age programs, STEAM activities, young adult programs. That's our euphemism or whatever you want to call it for the teens. They are into gaming and Roblox and Minecraft and things such as that. And then we have special programs. So story walk at the, I forget what, the Gibson Woods.
Oh, yeah, so they do team up with groups like Gibson Woods, where they'll do a nature walk, and they'll go over a book that they've read, things like that. So they do outreach,
Mr. Novak,
Yeah.
I know we allotted 10 minutes for this. Can we wrap this up?
I'm sorry.
Next slide, I'm sorry. And again, this is just a recap of what we just spoke on. I'll just go down to my long-range plan. I'm looking at creating a ESL program for the, for first English, second language learners. The legislative threats, we all know about this. It's not like it's just hitting me. But next slide. This is a quote by Henry Ward Beecher. Libraries are not a luxury, but a necessity of life. Yes, times have changed. Our cell phones give us a lot of information. But again, your cell phone is a toy. It's where you play games. It's not where you get real information. And if you Google something, it's just going to give you whoever the top payer is. Most real information is brought on by actual librarians. So think about that.
And at the same time, we understand, and just to end on this note, at the same time, we understand that cell phones are a ubiquitous part. They're not going away. And I encourage everyone to check out the app that they've created, which lets you see what books are available. There's even e-books, audio, things like that you can rent on this app. There's a bunch of things you can do on the app. You can see different websites. If you're a member, you can come use our Ancestry.com or different websites for free that you usually have to pay for. So definitely check out our app. Please come check us out. We're doing 611 events last year. So I'm sure you'll find an event you'll want to attend, okay?
Thank you.
All right, last slide, I believe is just showing you, in all honesty, a picture of the library. The last, it's
The gold glass clock, if you remember.
it's everything is. I keep it clean. I'm actually changing the way that my maintenance is going to take care of the building in a week. I want it to be even cleaner and keep that place up to clean and ship shape. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
for your
White.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, approval of minutes.
Mr. President, I ask that we accept the minutes from the March 24th meeting and place them on file.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilman Emerson. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Item number 5, item number 5, approval of, let me try that one more time. Item number 6, approval of claims.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for approval of claims dated March 19th, 2025, and ending with claims dated April 10th, 2025. Claims number 2837 through claims number 3378, inclusive, in the amount of $13,254,522.61.
Second.
I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Rakos. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander. Yes. Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Item number 7, public hearings.
Item A. Ordinance 25-06, sponsored by Councilman Salinas, an appropriation ordinance for the city of Hammond, Indiana.
You want to do them both at the same time, clerk?
Okay. Item B. Ordinance 25-09, sponsored by Councilman Emerson, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Hammond, Indiana, authorizing the issuance and sale of the bonds of Hammond to finance the cost of street and road projects within the city, and the issuance and sale of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance and sale of such bonds, appropriating the proceeds derived from the sale of such bonds and bond anticipation notes and other matters related thereto.
Anybody wish to speak on these issues?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Mayor?
Besides being mayor, I'm Tom McDermott. I live at 7134 Knickerbocker. I know this is a public hearing, so the appropriation ordinance, the ordinance food and beverage bond, so to speak, is a $15 million issuance paid for with food and beverage tax proceeds that are within the city of Hammond, funding 2 projects. One project is the Hammond Sportsplex expansion. It's undergoing right now. The sources of revenue for that expansion is at multiple sources. One of them is a federal low-interest loan from the federal government that's in the process of being approved. The other one is the proceeds from what we're approving right here. And I appreciate Councilman Salinas for carrying that. The other project is in the 2nd district. So that was in the 3rd district, the Sportsplex expansion. The other project's in the 2nd district. That is the downtown Hammond train station. 100% of the money for the downtown Hammond train station will come from this bond. Also, the $1.2 million bond is an idea that we had when the wheel tax was passed. If you'll remember correctly, when we passed the wheel tax, we did it too late to start paving roads this summer. All right? When the wheel tax was passed, it was past a deadline where it wouldn't be implemented until next year, which meant we couldn't begin doing roads with the wheel tax proceeds until next year. So speaking with our professional engineer, Dean Button, resident of Robertsdale, by the way, Dean said, hey, is there any way we could do, in addition to what we normally get from the casino revenue, which we all know is shrinking rapidly, is there anything we could do this year to help me get some roads done? We came up with this idea. And this is the idea. Bond for the future, $1.5 million that we're gonna get in future years. We could do $1.2 million worth of work this summer, if you pass this. We can start this summer. Next year, we'll do about $1.2 million worth of work. The summer after that, we'll do about $1.2 million worth of work. Summer after that, we'll do about $1.2 million worth of work if we pass this bond. If you don't, it's not like Hammond's gonna fold up and go away. This isn't like life or death, sink the ship stuff. If you don't pass this, we're not gonna be able to do $1.2 million of road work this year. We'll have to wait until 2026. So that's the repercussions if this isn't passed. The food and beverage, that's imperative. This is nice. How about that? Food and beverage is imperative. This is nice. If we pass this, it's nice because we can start road work right now and it's gonna look nicer. It's not gonna sink the ship if you guys say no, but we could do it right now. I like doing it now because our roads look like crap and I wanna make them look better. I know that there's some pushback on this. I think that's insane. We could do road work right now. Like right now. It's not gonna cost us anything. We already did the dirty work. We passed the wheel tax. We can do it right now. If you don't pass it, I'm not gonna stomp and storm out of here. I'll be wondering what the hell's going on though. We could do road work right now. It's crazy if we don't pass this. So anyway, if you have any questions, great. If not, consider that my public comment. Thanks.
Anybody else wish to speak on this issue? Does anybody else wish to speak on either issue? Hearing none, public hearings are closed. Item number 8, communications. Does anyone have any communications?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
I just want to congratulate a couple of people from the city of Hammond. One is Scott Kupak, who is a teacher at the Hammond Area Career Center, who won the skills. He was honored as the Skills USA Advisor of the Year. I actually graduated high school with Scott, and I know he's been at the Career Center maybe close to like 15 years, if not more. I know our chief of staff, Mr. Scott Miller, is very familiar with him. Scott, I don't know if you want to say anything about Scott Kupak, but I know he puts his heart and soul into teaching those kids over their skills in the trades. And I mean, he's done a lot of work for people around Hammond too, so just very proud of him.
Scott's fantastic. And what Skills USA is, think about this, where you have high school students actually competing in carpentry and trades events against other kids from other career centers. So they literally show up, they give them a blueprint they've never seen before, and they actually have to build it. And then they're judged based upon their construction quality and such. And so he won the award for the Advisor of the Year across all programs in the state. But Scott's actually, he's had a state champion just from Morton High School just last year. His student was the national champion, actually not state champion, national champion the whole country in carpentry just last year. So he has top quality program right here in Hammond.
Thank you. The other person I would like to congratulate and the entire staff over at Mount Zion Pleasant View Plaza. I know this would be near and dear to your heart, but they just had a inspection, Inspire inspection, and they scored 99 out of 100 for just kind of overall ranking of their building. So I want to congratulate Ms. Short and her entire staff for the good work that they're doing over there to take care of our seniors within the city of Hammond. So thank you.
Anybody else have anything on the communications? Does anybody else have anything on the communications? Communications are now closed. Item number 9, committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilman Salinas.
council as a whole will be bringing out ordinance 2506 and 2507 for third and final.
I will be bringing out third and final 2509.
Mr. President, I also have a committee report from the Capital Improvement Board. The Capital Improvement Board met on April 7th, 2025, and we had 6 funding allocations. I'll go through them now. First funding allocation we had was allocation number 237. It was a Pazer and sign inventory supplemental to the first group engineering in the amount of $16,552.50. This here is adding in street lights and trees to the city's GIS system. It's going to add in the location, type, style, right-of-way. It's even going to include NIPSCO poles. The second funding allocation, number 238, is a Kennedy Avenue Road diet tree removal to Howard Tree Removal Service in the amount of $6,100. It says here that this was anticipated to have already been done, but that didn't happen, so we came back, circled back around, and got this taken care of. The third funding allocation was number 239. That is, we all should have received a list of road projects, 2025 annual resurfacing in the amount of $1 million. And this is a provisional overlay summary. Funding allocation number 240 was the fourth item. That includes 165th and State Line intersection improvements. That went to construction engineering, first group engineering in the amount of $30,600. It says here that this is to improve the intersection primarily for the eastbound traffic, including safety measures, shoulder rumble strips, improve signage, and add in guardrail. Fifth funding allocation, number 241, is a Marble Street reconstruction. This is a change order number 3 in the amount of $5,097.60. This is a balancing change order, so it was basically just to adjust some quantities. The sixth and final funding allocation was a sinkhole repair at 225 Russell Street in the amount of $6,851.38. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything on the committee reports? For the record, ordinance number 2508 is coming out too, even though it wasn't in committee, right?
2506, I thought it was.
No, an ordinance creating a new fund for energy efficiency and conservation block grant,
Oh, yeah,
2508.
that's me, yeah.
Does anybody else have anything under committee reports?
But we didn't have a committee report on that.
Right.
We did.
Does anybody else have anything under committee reports? You don't have it there. Hearing none, committee reports are now closed. Item number 10, ordinance third reading and final passage.
Ordinance number 25-06, sponsored by Councilman Salinas, an appropriation ordinance for the city of Hammond, Indiana.
Yes, Mr. President. This is the appropriation ordinance for the 1% beverage tax that we will be issuing bonds for in the amount of $15 million, $10 million of which will be for the downtown Hammond train station.
Are you bringing it out for third and final passage?
My apologies.
No, it's okay. Are you bringing it?
Myself.
It's okay.
Yes.
Is there a second on that?
Second.
The motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Do you want to repeat it all again, or are we good?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything else to add? Does anybody else have anything else to add? Hearing no further discussion, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali. Yes. Vines.
Yes.
Kowinski.
No.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
No.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes. Let the record show 7 in favor, 2 opposed.
Ordinance number 25-07, sponsored by Councilman Salinas. An ordinance of the City of Hammond, Indiana, authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds of the city and, if necessary, bond anticipation notes for the purpose of providing funds to be applied to the cost of certain improvements to the Hammond Sportsplex and Community Center and the city's downtown community rail station, together with all related improvements, equipment, and incidental expenses in connection therewith and on account of the issuance of bonds therefor.
Mr. President, I ask we make a motion for the third and final.
Second.
The motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Is there any discussion?
Just as as Clerk Golick mentioned, this is the authorization of the actual issuance of the bond portion.
Does anybody else have anything under discussion? Does anybody else have anything under discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali. Yes. Vines.
Yes.
Kowinski.
No.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show 8 in favor, 1 opposed.
Ordinance 25-08, sponsored by Councilwoman Vines. An ordinance creating new fund number 2491 for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for final passage of 2508.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Rakos. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
This simply establishes line items for the $133,000 grant that we received.
Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Ordinance number 25-09, sponsored by Councilman Emerson. An ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Hammond, Indiana, authorizing the issuance and sale of bonds of the City of Hammond, Indiana, to finance the cost of street and road projects within the city, and issuance and sale of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance and sale of such bonds, appropriating the proceeds derived from the sale of such bonds, and bond anticipation notes and other matters related thereto.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I move for third and final approval of 2509.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Emerson, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Mayor.
just to clear up, I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page about what we're voting for or voting against. If you vote against this, you're saying you don't want any road work to be done this year on the roads with this money. And basically what you're saying is, we're not going to do 1.2 million this year extra. We're going to wait until next year and do 1.5, okay? So this is going to give us the ability to do road work within weeks if we pass this. If we don't, we'll wait until next year and we'll do 1.5 with this money. So that's what's at stake. Are we doing 1.2 this year, next year, the year after? Or are we doing nothing this year and 1.5 next year, okay? Just want to make sure everybody understood what they're voting for or against.
Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
as I said in caucus, things aren't getting any cheaper, and so I support this ordinance, and we'll see what happens.
Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
just wanted to clarify something that we discussed in caucus. Just, I think we've heard that this doesn't cost us anything extra, but it does cost us, and this is, I'm not trying to sway any opinions, I'm just trying to get correct on the facts, but it does cost us $255,000 in fees associated with the bond issuance that would detract from the total amount that we were able to use for street overlays.
Mr. President?
Mayor.
I'm sure that's about right. It's like if you take out interest loan, it's like interest on the loan. So over the next 4 or 5 years, when we're paying back this bond, we will pay interest, true. And of course, whenever you do this, you have to pay lawyers and stuff like that. So I imagine a loan of this magnitude, $1.5 million, or excuse me, $1.2 million, will cost approximately what you're saying. I'm not denying that.
Okay.
So if we want to do, that's true. So modifying what I said earlier, if we do road work this year, there is a cost. Councilman Tyler's pointing out correctly. Okay. Concede. I concede that.
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
sorry, and also just based off the math that we were doing in caucus, I see that on the sheet that we have, the average is about 45K per block. So what are we talking? We said 4 before, but I think that's about 6 blocks? Am I making that up? 5 blocks. So not a big difference, but just want to clarify that too, just based off our earlier conversation.
I'm not speaking for, except for the streets in my district. They got a couple of streets listed here. These aren't even full blocks. Like Cherry Street is 8 houses. 1200 Cherry, and it's listed for 25,000. 173rd place from Walnut to White Oak is not a full block, and it's listed for 42. So the one I see that's a full street, 172nd in Columbia, it's $61,621. I'm just going by the streets in my district. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander?
No. No.
Yes, no? Spitali?
Yes.
Vines?
Yes.
Kalwinski?
No.
Salinas?
Yes.
Tyler?
No.
Emerson?
Yes.
Rakos?
Yes.
Warple?
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 6-3.
President Warple, that concludes the ordinances for final passage.
Item number 11, introduction of ordinances. There are none. Item number 12, resolutions.
Item A, Resolution 25R-08, sponsored by Councilman Rakos. A resolution of the City of Hammond, Common Council, relating to the selection of a Lake County Convention Center.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
I make a motion we pass 24R08.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Rakos, seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman
I'd like to read
Rakos.
the rest of the resolution. I also have some comments. Whereas the city of Hammond is the largest city in Lake County, Indiana, contributes to the economic well-being of Lake County and the state of Indiana through its billions of dollars of assessed residential, commercial, and industrial property. And whereas the city of Hammond since 1996 has been an Indiana casino community generating hundreds of millions of dollars for Lake County and the state of Indiana through the gaming revenue, and was a leader in casino revenue in the state for nearly 2 decades. And whereas, over the last several years, Hammond has seen casino revenue steadily decrease due in part to the Indiana legislature allowing Hard Rock Casino to be built along I-8094 and the favored tax advantage given to Hard Rock Casino, placing other Northwest Indiana casino communities at a distinct competitive disadvantage. And whereas the state of Indiana legislature passed Senate Enrolled Act 434 and the governor signed said bill into law in 2023, establishing a Lake County Convention Center Authority and a Lake County Economic Development Convention Fund, if a proposal for a Lake County Convention Center is approved under IC 36-7.5 to 7.8 by the Lake County Commissioners. And whereas Lake County Commissioners request proposals for Lake County Convention Center and received 2 proposals, one in Hobart, one in Gary. And whereas the Lake County Commissioners have had public hearings and presentations of said proposals and have hired professional advisors to assist in review of said proposals and are set to make a decision on said proposals on or before June 1st, 2025, all pursuant to the provisions and requirements set forth in IC 36-7.5 to 7.8. And whereas nothing in Indiana law requires that the Lake County Commissioners select a proposal for the Lake County Convention Center, whereas a convention center that will cost tens of millions of dollars to build and sustain is not in the best interest of the taxpayers of Lake County and not in the best interest of the city of Hammond or its residents. And whereas the last convention center in Lake County, the Star Plaza in Maryville, Hobart, was operated by the White family for years and was demolished nearly a decade ago and not rebuilt, indicated in part that the private industry does not support a convention center in Lake County, and that there is not a market for a viable, profitable local convention center that is not significantly subsidized by public dollars. And whereas choosing either location will not assist Hammond's decreasing casino revenues, and choosing the Hard Rock location will only act to specifically subsidize one casino's successes at the expense of the other casinos in Northwest Indiana, including Hammond Horseshoe and East Chicago Ameristar. And whereas nationally, regionally, and locally, an economic downturn is looming, including this uncertainty of the national economy and a state budget proposal about to be voted on and passed that will have significant financial impact to cities and towns throughout the state of Indiana and will further decrease revenue available for economic development projects. Whereas the selection of Lake County Convention Center will potentially increase taxes and decrease available revenues for other economic development projects throughout Lake County, including the city of Hammond. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Common Council of the City of Hammond hereby strongly requests that the Lake County Commissioners do not select the location for a Lake County Convention Center at this time, and it does not make economic sense. Potentially subsidizes one casino at the expense of other casinos, including Horseshoe Hammond, and is not in the best interest of taxpayers and residents of the City of Hammond. Be it further resolved by the Common Council of the City of Hammond that this resolution will be in full force and effect from and after its passage by the Hammond Common Council, signing by the President thereof and approval by the Mayor. Adopted and approved by the Common Council on this date.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, Mr. President, I just wanted to say, it's all said in here, but what's been going on at the state level, it's discussed in here, they're planning to take, even though there's a surplus at the state level, they're pulling another fast one on the citizens of the state. They're going to give them more tax, property tax reduction, and they're taking it out of local cities and counties. Lake County recently had a resolution condemning that, which I applaud that they did that. And needless to say, at the national level, with the ineptitude and corruption coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania, you never know what's coming next. The thought that we can go ahead with something like this and not knowing what the future will bring, I find it reason enough to support this resolution. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor?
Hard Rock Casino is the most profitable casino in the state of Indiana. And they're on the cusp of getting a couple $100 million in tax incentive to build an addition to their casino. That's outrageous. Let that sink in. The most profitable casino in Indiana is asking for a couple $100 million of Lake County taxpayer money. That's what we're talking about here. This is insane, in my opinion. Why can't the casino fund their own expansion? Why do the citizens of Lake County have to fund Hard Rock's expansion? I think this is a clear issue for where we sit. Let me tell you some facts. We've already lost $13 million a year to Hard Rock. Already. And it's not stopping. It's going down. And they want to murder us. They want to murder Horseshoe Casino. They want to murder Ameristar Casino. And we're contemplating whether or not we should do this. This is a no-brainer, guys. And I'm not saying I think there's easily enough votes to pass this resolution on the council, but there's debate, which is, I'm the mayor of Hammond. I understand I have other things going in Lake County, but this is my job, being the mayor of Hammond. This is an important revenue stream to the citizens of Hammond. This is an important revenue stream to programs like College Bound. This is an important revenue stream to the Hammond Police Department, Hammond Fire Department, and we've lost $13 million already to Hard Rock. And now they want to build a massive $200 million taxpayer-funded expansion. There's a resolution saying, vote your conscience, guys, because I will sign this in a hot second. I think this convention center is a boondoggle. I think it's going to be an utter failure, wherever it's located, personally. If it's built in Hobart, I think it fails in Hobart, because it already failed down there. It failed at 65 and 30. Now, in all of our wisdom, we're going to build it off of 8094. Like, that's going to be better than 65 and 30. And we're going to spend $200 million to do it. And in the meantime, our main competitor in the casino industry is going to get bigger and more powerful. There's no doubt where we all need to lie on this issue. This should be a 9-0, in my opinion. I know we have disagreements, 7-2, 6-3, 5-4. This should be 9-0, guys, 9-0. You're a Hammond council person. I'm the Hammond mayor. This is a no-brainer. So I'm done talking about it. Good luck. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them, but I think this is a no-brainer.
Any further discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler?
there's a lot that's being said that I don't necessarily disagree with. And I do understand like our role is to especially fiscally protect our city and look out after our city. I don't feel like in my capacity as a councilman tonight, I have all the information I need necessary to make a decision. There are a couple other conversations that I would like to have before I vote yea or nay on this proposed resolution. And just like, from my understanding, and Mayor, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the things that I'm just trying to check my understanding in terms of the conversation that we're having. Because as of right now, the money that will be allocated for this project is coming from the state, not any additional taxes. One, that's just a check for understanding.
That's not true.
Okay, so can you?
They wanted to raise the innkeeper's tax in Lake County from 5 to 10%. Now, whether that happens is a whole separate issue. They have their eyes on the innkeeper's tax that's controlled by the county, and they expect that to help them bond the hundreds of millions of dollars they're going to need to float to build that convention center.
For the, and
Off the innkeeper's tax, Lake County innkeeper's tax.
Correct
That's
me
a
if I'm
tax.
wrong. Hobart came out and said that they would look into that if they won the proposal, but Gary said that they would not, correct? And I'm not saying that that's not beholding, right? Because they could change their mind.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation.
But I do know how much we lost to the Hard Rock. Hammond lost to
Yes.
Gary. I do know how much that is. I can give it to you. It's 13 million currently. Probably be 15 or 16 next year. Maybe if they build this, it'll be 20 to 25 million, Councilman. Maybe it'll go to zero, and then Gary could take all the goddamn money we used to have here in Hammond. We can analyze it. Let's keep analyzing it, and watch us just keep losing money.
So my other point was that we have an opportunity as a council, as mayor, as your administration, to sit down with representatives from Gary to have a conversation, because I think there are other partnership opportunities. So this could be an opportunity to provide additional revenue to our city with some type of partnership agreement, collaborative agreement, that I know that the city of Gary is interested in having that conversation. I don't know if Hobart would be, but potentially we could try to schedule time to have that conversation with them too, since we don't know which municipality will be awarded the convention center. And then the last thing I'll say is that I know that the county commissioners have a consultant conducting a financial analysis of the financial impact that this could have on the region as a whole. And so I think that if we're given enough time, we could wait until that report comes out so that we can better understand what this could financially mean for the city of Hammond before we make a decision whether we would back either one of these options or not. So once again, I'm going to make a motion that we table this until a meeting in May so that we can have those meetings, conduct further information. We will still be able to pass this resolution in advance of any vote that takes place by the county commissioners and still go on record opposing this. So I don't necessarily feel like us taking any more time to get more information will hurt anything. So at this time, I would like to make a motion that we table this resolution until the May 12th council meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made to table. Clerk Golick, roll call.
Who was the second?
Councilman Kowinski.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
No.
Vines.
No.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
No.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
No.
Rakos.
No.
Warple.
No. Motion fails 6-3. Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion
About this issue,
about this issue? Yes.
I have more to say.
What part?
I'm having trouble comprehending what I just heard, being honest with you. Having trouble comprehending it. How much more do we need to lose? Gary doesn't want to be our partner, Councilman Barry. They don't want to be our partner. Hard Rock doesn't want to be our partner. They want to kill our casino, Councilman. I hate to break it to you. I don't know who you're talking to or why you think Gary loves us so much, but they don't. They took $13 million out of our budget so far, Councilman, and you want to go ask them to be a partner? No, I don't want to be partners on this project. they're trying to kill our casino. They are trying to kill Hammond Horseshoe and Ameristar, and you want to reach out and be partners? I think that shows the ultimate weakness.
Mr.
No way.
President, in terms of who I was speaking to, I spoke with Mayor Eddie Melton.
I'm sure he appreciates what you're doing for him, Councilman.
And well, I'm not doing anything for him. I'm trying to do my due diligence to learn how this will impact our city.
We've been talking about a convention center for years, Councilman Barry, for years.
Yeah, I understand that. But
When are you going to be done with this
resolution-
due diligence?
Mayor, this resolution was put in front of me on Thursday, so I didn't know it was
You didn't
coming.
anticipate this would come up?
I could have anticipated it, but the information that is included in the ordinance, in the resolution, I'm trying to do my due diligence around and learn more information, that's all. And I advocated that we postpone the vote, not for a year or 2 years until after the vote is taken and the convention center is built. Still, we can take a vote on this before. I just wanted to have more time to get some more information. I know you've been in this position for 22 years now. You have a lot more knowledge and information than I do. So I think we're just coming from this from two different perspectives, where I'm just trying to spend a little bit more time and gain a little bit more information. And I do have the word of Mayor Eddie Melton that he would like to work with us on this. And I don't necessarily understand the rush to get this passed if we have a chance to have a conversation just to see how that plays out. We can still take a vote in May. If we pass it, we pass it. We go on a record opposing this. I was just trying to advocate that we spend a little bit more time, get some more information before we make a final decision. That's all. But I respect your opinion. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wanted more information to inform the decision that I was trying to make. That's all. Thank you.
Here's what I don't get. I try to read the paper every now and then, and I see where there's a bill to cut property taxes throughout the state. And the answer downstate is, well, we're going to let every city in town enact an income tax. Yet we got $200 million or whatever it is to build a convention center when I'm not all that smart and I was just a mailman, but I think one failed here already.
Two.
Already.
Maybe soon to be 3.
Yeah. So,
But at least, hey, Councilman, at least if this one fails, Hard Rock could just move their casino operation right into it, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be connected. They could just move their gaming equipment right into the broke-down convention center that doesn't have enough business. They can just move their slot machines right in there and just wipe us out once and for all. And then we can fight over pennies over here over which streets we're going to do. You know what? That's the thing that strikes me. You guys are constantly giving me crap about the state of the budget and how little money we have to do streets. And the real culprit is Hard Rock Casino. I hate to break it to you guys, and you want to study. Let's study this. Hard Rock is cleaning our clocks. We gave them $13 million so far. They want more. That's what we're talking about. And you give me crap about the amount of money we have left to do roads. This is what's taking our money. And we're about to give them $200 million more. You want to study that? I've been studying it, Councilman. This is why I'm asking you guys to do this.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Alexander.
just trying to just get some more understanding. I hear you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I hear Barry as
appreciate
well. I hear both standpoints. And again, I think it's, just from my colleague and our sake is that we continue to want to learn on this job, right? We're still learning as we go. And yes, we've always talked about what's going to happen with those casino dollars. We do see the drops. And he didn't say yay or nay. Only thing he was actually saying is he just wants some more research. He just wants some more information. And you're providing information. I thank you for that. I really do. So I don't want you to think that
I'm not a councilwoman.
it's, bash Mayor Day or anything like that. It's just a lot of times we do get information. And yes, we could read papers. And yes, there's a lot of bills that are coming out. And we get the brunt of it up here in Northwest Indiana a lot of times from downstate because they don't see it. Do I feel a convention center is good for us over there or not? No, I don't.
Thank you.
But getting more information to have a concise and understanding of why you're saying yes to something versus just getting something, reading through just a couple of pieces of paper that we can have more information on. I don't think it's too hard for that. A lot of times you say just reach out, but a lot of times that's a little bit hard. Not saying we can't text you, we do, because I have lately. It's just getting a little bit more background on what's happening downstate, because a lot of times you are going down there, and then we're seeing and we're talking to the representatives. So I didn't feel that it was too hard to agree with him to just wait till the next meeting to say, we're gonna vote yes or no, just to get some more information. Now, the partnership thing, I don't know anything about that, that's just his conversation. But as for wanting more information, I wanted more information as well. And I'm just gonna put that on the record. And it's not because I'm not saying no, I'm saying yes. It's just wanting to have a little bit more, because just 3 papers of how this validates why we're doing what we're doing. Yes, we've lost a lot of casino revenues since we've been on board, especially when COVID hit. And it does affect us. And I think I've always asked you, I've asked Megan, how are we gonna continue to sustain the things that we're doing when we're bringing things out, like the raises, and what are we gonna do with water and all those things. This is just another one of those instances where we're like, where are we going from here? What does our future look like? Yes, Hard Rock is not the only thing taking money from us, Wind Creek is too. Because that brand new boat it's in Illinois, but you have people that are traveling from here to over there. So I think we have a lot of other casinos that have been tapping into Horseshoe's funds that I can be honest about. That's the new Wind Creek. That is Hard Rock, absolutely, because they're closer. And then you have the one that's like North Chicago, Bailey's or something as well. So people are choosing when we did get a lot of Illinois people to come to Horseshoe. So I just wanted to put that on a record and for more perspective on why you're upset and you're adamant about we need to vote this. I do agree that, but I also would like some more information if that's okay.
Mr. President.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Venez.
To say that you haven't been on the job that long and you're still learning, well, it's our job to learn as we go along with these issues. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, as Councilwoman Alexander said. There's casinos in Illinois. There's casinos in Indiana. There's casinos in Michigan. They're popping up all over. And if the White family could not make a go on the corner of 65 and 8094, then that should be the writing on the wall. If somebody wants to have a convention, they're going to come to the Hard Rock? What about Chicago? Chicago has a whole lot more to offer than what Hard Rock does. I don't understand not wanting to protect our interest, not standing up for our community. I don't understand that.
Just to buttress with what you're saying, well, we need more information. Okay, if that's what you guys feel. But I don't know what more information we need. Like, if they decide the convention center's going there, do you think they're going to come to us and say, hey, hang on, we never heard what Hammond thinks? I'd like to be on the record before the fact. It ain't where it's going. It's the fact that there's a convention center coming to Lake County when it's failed twice. And I read in the paper, again, and this means a lot because we hear every complaint there is, from chickens to taxes. And how do you explain that 3 or 4 years from now, the state, we're going to be $8 million short towards our city budget? and the state says, oh yeah, you guys can impose a city income tax. Can I get more information then? I'm sorry, I totally agree. It's not where it's going. I don't think we need a convention center, period. I'm just one voice. But I'd rather go on the record before the fact than after the fact. Is there any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
just once again to clarify, my postponing of the vote would still take place before the vote for the convention center would take place. So we would still be able to get ahead of this. It would just mean another way for us to get more information. And I would just like to go once again on record and saying, like, I get that there's like a lack of relationships with other municipalities. There's a lack of relationships between like city officials. And so I get that like we approach this conversation with some hesitation. But at the same time, I don't think a conversation could hurt us, especially if people are saying that they would be willing to collaborate with Hammond in some shared revenue format on this convention center. Well, now,
Could we
if we go
stop?
into that
Could we stop talking
conversation,
about
Call
that?
for a vote. Can we get a vote,
No, can we
please?
stop talking about that? Seriously.
There's been a call for the vote.
hogwash. Listen, I talked to Mayor Melton a few days ago. Mayor Melton asked me to do this, okay? He said, Mayor.
Mr. President, I think there was a call for a vote.
Oh, really? You don't want to hear some context here? It's bunk,
ahead.
what we're talking about here. Mayor Melton and I talked a few days ago. You could check the record on this. He called me and said, Mayor, I need help from you. I said, what do you need, Mayor? He said, can you do a letter in support of Nippon Steel buying U.S. steel? I said, no problem, Mr. Mayor, and I did it. By the way, pissing off the steel workers in the process. Ask Mayor Melton. He didn't bring up anything about sharing money with the city of Hammond. He had plenty of opportunities. He didn't say anything about that. He asked me for one thing. I did him the favor, took some heat for it. I feel good about myself because I think it was the right thing to do on Nippon Steel. He knows he wouldn't ask me about that, Councilman Barry, because there's no way. They want to share money with us because they've taken it from us already. I don't know.
There's been a call for the vote.
Mr. President,
Call for the vote.
The call for the vote.
really quick, Mr.
Yes.
President.
There's been a
No,
call for
we
the vote.
called
The
for
mayor
the
got the
vote.
last word.
Okay, so here's the issue, though. We
We
called,
called for the
and this is
vote.
There's been a call for the vote. That ends discussion.
Against,
That ends discussion.
that's funny that it's called for the vote for us, but I'm not knocking mayor. When we're calling for the vote, that should be for all of us. And that's
Okay.
just so we don't get
Call
frustrated.
for the vote.
If we're gonna call for the vote, let's call it for all of us. Nothing against you, Mayor. I'm just saying, if we're gonna call it, let's call it for everybody and be fair.
Call it.
So, that's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking you, and I just want us to be, if we're gonna be point of order, let's be point of order for everybody in the room. Now, let's call for
The
the vote.
mayor can speak at any time on any issue.
It has
There's
to
been
be
a call for the
everybody.
vote. Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
I'm abstaining right now because on that,
Can't abstain. You're on the
can't
floor.
abstain.
fine, yeah.
Spitali.
He said yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
No.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show 7 in favor, 2 opposed? No, 6 in favor. I'm sorry, 8 to 1, I'm sorry. Motion carries 8 to 1.
Ordinance number 20, excuse me,
Wait a minute. We're still on resolutions.
right.
I'm sorry.
Item B, Resolution 25R-09, sponsored by Councilman Salinas and Spitali. A resolution of the Hammond City Council approving the redesignation of the Hammond Urban Enterprise Zone for a period of 5 years for a renewal date of December 31st through 2029.
I'll make a motion that we accept 25R09.
Motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, I'm going to go ahead and defer this discussion to our HDC Executive Director, Jennifer Bussey, please.
Good evening, Council. Are there any questions about what the resolution is? This was passed previously in 2018. This helps benefit the downtown area. It helps benefit the enterprise zones. It is a 35% participation fee for new businesses or businesses expanding in the enterprise zone. I'm sorry. And with the funding that we get for that, the HUEA then gives out grants, sponsorships, and partnerships, which benefit all of Hammond. And it also allows us to, we've been able to bring in some new businesses, which is, for example, Meats by Linz was brought in with this participation fee. Hudumaki just did a huge renovation and added on, so it's not only for new businesses, but it's for existing businesses to build on and renovate their spaces, add new equipment, whatever it may be. They get this 10-year, 35% in a de-escalating scale to participate in this program, which benefits the city. We also work very closely with the city's economic development team to help bring in the new, new businesses and to help promote. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
And this goes through 2029?
Yes, it will go through December of 2029. It's a 5-year.
Thank you.
Any
Mr.
further-
President,
Councilman Tyler.
hi. Can you just clarify exactly where the zone is? What area constitutes the zone?
It's spread out through Hammond. It's mostly in the industrial areas, and then it does go across into Hessville. So it does cover a wide variety of area. I do have a map if anybody would like to see
So
that.
I'm guessing it'll be what, 2nd, 3rd, and 6th districts?
Yes, it doesn't really, there's not much up in the 1st district, there's a little bit, and then it goes into the 2nd, the 3rd, there's nothing in the 4th, not much, just a little bit, and then into the 5th and 6th, yes.
Thank you.
They're the areas which mostly had hard economic times or industry. And this was decided years ago. It is something that we're looking at in being able to possibly move some of those zones around. They do have to touch each other. That's the key to it. It can't just be like spot here, spot here, spot here. It has to go in a continuous form. So we are going to be looking at in the future if we are approved and to be able to develop some new areas.
Thanks, Jen.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
Appreciate what you're doing. I was with Urban Enterprise back in my college years, so totally understand how all that goes and what they've allowed and what the program was able to do even for the community. So definitely support this one.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Orpo.
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President President Orpo, that concludes the reading of the resolutions.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
you're moving on to new and unfinished business?
Yes, I was.
Okay, good, because that's where I'd like you to go. I would like to schedule a scholarship committee meeting on Tuesday, May 6th, 4:30 p.m. in the council caucus chambers.
Thank you.
Do we need a second on that?
What's that?
Do we need a second on that, or?
No, it's just she's scheduling a committee hearing for that day.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Alexander.
I just really want to go on the record with what I'm going to say, just to make sure that as we continue to move forward as a council, because it really is disheartening when a lot of times we say call for the vote. We're calling for the vote to silence our colleagues. Let's be honest about that. But if we're going to call for the vote, let's please do it for everyone in the room. You say, Mayor can say whatever he wants. I feel because this is our meeting, we need to be able to talk. We need to be able to express ourselves and have communication, even if we don't agree or disagree with each other. It has to be right because we're causing tension that did not have to be there when we're listening to everybody. It's okay to, I teach my students, it's okay to disagree with something that I'm not giving you. It's also okay for them to ask questions when they're unsure of something. So yes, I want to go on the record. If we're going to do this for everyone in the room, if we're going to call for the vote, let's be honest and call for the vote and hear our colleagues out, even when we don't agree with them. Because a lot of times I don't agree with some things you guys say, and I say nothing. But when you don't agree with some of the things that we say, you hurry up to silence us, and that's not fair. So let's be honest and continue to do what we need to do as a council for everyone in the room, that we don't just silence people just because we have the right to.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I do believe in our ordinance book. There is a line, I can't remember what it is, I don't have the book with me, but the mayor is entitled to speak at any time during the meeting.
On any issue, number one. Number two, if we want to get technical about it, I believe each council member can speak 3 times on an issue, or is it twice?
3.
It's 3. I hear discussions where we call on the same person 4 or 5 times. Yet, you want to say that, what? I'm being lenient here. And when there's a call for the vote, it ends discussion. The mayor has the right to speak at any time on any issue.
If we're going to call for this discussion, and it's not for us to just have this moment, I'm asking that we continue to be open with each other. We're calling for a vote. If we're going to call for a vote, let's call it for everyone in the room so we don't cause unnecessary tension that doesn't need to be here. We're colleagues. We can get along. We can agree to disagree. And it's okay. That's the way the world works.
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
The mayor is the mayor. He can speak whenever he wants. If you want to have a class on Robert's Rules of Order, I'd be more than happy to participate in that. If you want to have a class to go through the ordinance book and outline all the ordinances that are in there, I'd be more than happy to do that too, as long as all of us participate. But, I mean, Robert's Rules of Order is Robert's Rules of Order. Our ordinance book is the ordinance book, and we follow those accordingly.
So let me...
Don't just make it up as we go.
Before this gets carried away, all you're asking is let everybody speak, correct? And you're asking the colleagues to hold off on the call for the vote?
I'm not saying, when there's tension, that flies.
I'm just saying that when
seems that
somebody
we
calls for
always-
the vote, I have to acknowledge it.
But I'm asking that if we're calling for the vote, then everybody just stop. And that's including just everybody in the room.
Mr. President.
That's all I'm asking.
Mayor gets.
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
I think for me, it's just a matter of respect. We were having a conversation or discussion. Something was said that I was responding to, a point that I had not made. It was only my second time speaking. And then because people didn't want to hear what I had to say, there was a request for a call to vote, which is your right to do so. Mr. President, you also have an opportunity to let me finish my thought if you want to, and then go back to that call for vote. So I think for me, I've never on this council disrespected anyone. Like Councilwoman Alexander said, anytime somebody else is speaking, something I don't agree with, we still continue, never interrupt. And I would just ask that we do the same thing for everybody in that matter. That's
I
all.
understand what you're saying, Councilman, both of you. It's my understanding when someone calls for the vote, it ends all discussion. No? They can finish their point?
Yes, you have the discretion.
Dave, go ahead.
If you want me to say it.
If I've been wrong once in my life, I'll admit it.
But I'm going to tell you that call for the vote is a motion. If it's seconded, then the chairman the chairman takes a roll call to stop debate. And one of the best parliamentary people I've ever worked with in my life is the gentleman sitting in front of you. And I think if you ask him, he'll help you, but he won't interfere. But Mr. Golick knows his stuff. But you can call for the vote. If it's seconded, you have a roll call. That's
That's
stopping
to end the discussion, correct?
That's
it
my
wrong.
understanding, and I don't know if Mr. Golick agrees with me or not, but that's my understanding, yes.
Okay, I did it wrong. Anybody? Go
Mr.
ahead.
President,
Go ahead.
the only other thing, I just want to go on record. I know it's too late to change my vote, but for, sorry, it was for third and final for ordinance 25-06. I voted no, but I meant to vote yes. I know I can't change my vote, but just wanted to go on the record to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Salinas.
I've got a big thank you to give out to the Public Works Department, specifically the Supervisor Juan Serrano. Juan and his crew came to downtown Hammond, Willow Court, behind Strachan Van Tills, and they did a major cleanup of a highly littered area, and they did a fantastic job. So I want to say thank you to Juan Serrano and the Public Works Department. And also, I want to acknowledge the passing of a 30-plus year volunteer at Irving Little League. Jerry McKimmey passed away, and I want to send out condolences to the McKimmey family on behalf of the council. Jerry was very kind-spoken volunteer. Did a lot for the neighborhood kids in the community. So that's all I have right now, Mr. President. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything under new and unfinished business? Clerk Golick, can his vote be changed, or is it?
No.
No? No, okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything under new and unfinished business? Hearing none, public expression, and our first speaker is Cindy Bear. Bean, Cindy Bean, I'm sorry. I still can't get over the fact I made a mistake.
This is the first time I ever did this, guys, so bear with me. I've had a long-time issue with my neighbor that rents the house next door. I've called only 3 times in 15 years on this house, but I'm not getting any action. He's got cars and trucks that he rents out. I don't know if he's a company, but he told me this personally. He buys cars and trucks and rents them out. They're stacked up everywhere. 3 of them have no plates. He's switching plates. There's a work truck out there that's full of garbage. My back door faces his back door. He's changing oil in the front, right there by our driveways. We got driveways right together. And yesterday was the main thing. I woke up yesterday, or woke up this morning? I think it was this morning, or was it last night? You know the brand new sidewalk that you guys just put in on 170th? You know the brand new sidewalk that's all in? He had it all, he tore down the flags, and he drove a truck right over that brand new sidewalk. And he left marks, and he went on my part of the sidewalk. That's what really ticked me off. So I took pictures of everything. I sent it to Emerson. Your lovely secretary in there took time with me. I was in there for half an hour. She took the pictures off my phone, sent it to her phone, printed it out, put it in your folder so you can see the lovely, what I have to live with. Yes, have you seen what I have to live with? One year, I had 2 vans, guys sleeping in the vans. I think this house is owned by somebody who runs a construction company, because I had people sleeping in vans right next to my house. I didn't complain, I didn't call in. I'm about up to here. When I call in, nothing gets done. So what do I do about this? He's a renter. How do I go about stopping this problem? I pay my taxes, I try to be nice, but this is, I live alone, lost my husband 20 years ago. I don't usually make a fuss. Raycos knows that. We worked hard together. Your kid was on my Girl Scout team. I was a Girl Scout leader, your kid. I mean, I've done a lot for the city, and I'm getting nothing back when my older years, when I need it.
Thank you. Your 3 minutes are up, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
First time I ever did this, but I wanted to speak my piece.
can talk to you afterwards.
And I'd love to talk to you, you're in my district, right? I need to talk to you about this, okay?
Next up,
Call
Aaron
me.
Tyler. Should I start the clock, Barry?
Okay, hello.
He made me start the clock.
Oh, that's okay. So, was watching at home, felt compelled enough to put these rambunctious kids in the car, bribe them with a lollipop that will come back to bite me later. It's not even working as very well as you guys have heard. Just because I know I'm Barry's wife, but if you know Barry, you know that he doesn't need anyone to defend him. So that's not why I'm up here. He was made to do this. He has far thicker skin than anyone I know. But as a resident of Hammond, the discourse, I have to say, up here is like often disappointing. And I say that to you all as people that I respect and know. As I respect and know, but the vibe, as the kids would say, it's off. Like, what I'm watching, and it's literally like if someone has a question, it is like, you're annoying. Why are you continuing to ask questions? It's much better when Big Ma is here. Like at the first reading, why are you asking so many questions? Just the first reading. At the last reading, why are you asking so many questions? We're at the end.
I know.
It's the TV. They see each other's on the TV. I would like to live in a city where the public officials can ask questions. And I know you guys, maybe you have a hard time believing that I am objective. I know I'm his wife, but I just wonder if maybe those of you who are a little resistant are not actually seeing things for how they are. I have to tell you, as someone watching, it's as if we don't like discussion. We don't like to know we've decided we know the answer. It's not rocket science is like not the discussion I want to be having. These are reasonable questions. These are reasonable questions that are being asked. And this is a thought I've had for a long time, but just as a resident, like I literally had to jump in my car and be like, guys, it's outrageous. Like, watching it is outrageous. Then there's like the fear mongering that goes in, that like if you're voting against this, that you must, like want casinos to be murdered. Like, it's really wild. Those people who know me know I'm actually very outspoken. I usually try not to get too spicy because I don't want to mess things up for Barry, but I am my own person. And I would just encourage you guys to, again, I love and respect all of you. I believe that you want the right thing, but it is painful to watch when people are just asking questions and it is just like shut down. There's Robert's Rules of Order, but then there's like, how do we want to treat each other as human beings? And those are actually two equally important things. So that's all I have to say about that. And God bless Liz for wrangling my children.
George?
George Stoyer, Robert Sale. That discussion about the funding for the extension, I guess, for want of a better term, to the Hard Rock, if it's done with public funds, there is an issue. Back in the day, when I used to roam Indiana and other parts and other states as a freelancer, I came across an issue here in Chesterton. If you guys remember the Dunes Water Park, back in the 90s, it was on the verge. It was having financial problems, and it was on the verge of closing. because the city of Valparaiso started their own water park with taxpayer dollars. And it was a very interesting issue because we got into the area of unfair competition. So the city of Hammond, from what I was listening, I only know bits of it, there may be an issue if that area or that domain or those issues are still viable in American law of when you're using taxpayer money, if the people that own the horseshoe, if it's, if they're still privately funded, I guess, hopefully all of it or most of it, but there may be an unfair competition issue or claim that can be raised that can, I don't know, maybe be a negotiation position. But I know it was out there in the 90s in the case law. I wrote on it and, for the newspapers, so it was there. Anyway, enough of that. Switching subjects, I know everybody, the mayor is really hot on the Crossroads Data Center, if that's still the name of the place. And I guess it's the way of the future. Nobody's going to stop it. I got to tell you, though, I feel really vulnerable. I feel exposed. I know I've read some of the news accounts with Rick Kalinsky speaking on behalf of NIPSCO, saying, yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll find a way to meet demand and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, on whose back? And you heard the mayor just a few minutes ago say, that there's no way that NIPSCO can meet the electricity demand that data center is going to require. So I guess they're going to have to build. And if they build, they're going to have to, somebody's have to pay for it. And it ain't going to be NIPSCO. It's probably going to be us. That's, I find it disturbing that this company, Mr. Dokich, is getting all these tax incentives. He's getting deferred taxes. He's getting exemptions. He's getting all kinds of tax breaks. In addition to, bear in mind, can I finish my thought?
Go ahead.
In addition to, he's getting all the tax deductions for the cost of goods and services sold. So he's getting the tax break up front, like a regular business, and he's getting it on the other end with respect to assessed value. Who's paying for this thing? The taxpayers are. Is he putting up any money? You tell me.
Thanks, George. I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.